Okay, so here we're going to look at another example. This one is a bit more complex than what we've been solving before, but it's still simple. So the question here is a 1500 kg car, a 1500 kg car increases speed from 10 meters per second to 20 meters per second. Calculate the change in kinetic energy. A 1500 kg car. So that tells us that the mass of the car is equal to what? 1500 kg, right? A 1500 kg car increases speed from 10 meters per second. So from 10 meters per second, so that's our first velocity. So our v1 is equal to what? 10 meters per second. Increases speed from 10 meters per second to 20 meters per second. So the speed increased, so that will be our V2, right? It increased to 20 meters per second. Calculate the change in kinetic energy. So what we're looking for is the change in what? In kinetic energy. That's delta kinetic what? Energy. That's the change in kinetic energy. So we know that kinetic energy is equal to half mv squared, right? This is a formula for kinetic energy. So my kinetic energy will be equal to 1 all over 2 times the mass of the car, which is 1500, times the first velocity with which the body was moving, v1. So that will be what? 10 squared, right? So the kinetic energy will be equal to 1 all over 2 times 1500 times 10 squared, right? That's what I have here. So this will be equal to 1 times 1500 times 10 times 10 will give us 100, right? 10 raised to the power of 2 is 10 times 10, and that will give us 100 over 2, right? So this will be equal to 1500 times 100 divided by 2, 1500 times 100 equal to, divided by 2 is equal to 75,000. So that will give me 75,000 what? Joules. Then I will look for the kinetic energy when the velocity is 20 meters per second, right? So kinetic energy is equal to what? Half mv squared, right? So this will be equal to 1 all over 2 times the mass of the car, which is 1500, times the velocity, the second velocity, which is 20 meters per second. So that's 20 squared, right? So this will be equal to, my kinetic energy will be equal to 1 times 1500 times 20 times 20, that's 20 squared. 20 times 20 will give me 400 over what? 2. So I'll bring out my calculator again and punch that. So 1500 times 400 equal to, divided by 2 is equal to 300,000, right? So my kinetic energy will be equal to 300,000 what? 300,000 joules, right? So the next thing I will do is to look for the change in kinetic energy, right? So change in kinetic energy, which is delta Ke, will be equal to Ke2 minus Ke1. So this is my Ke2 and this is my Ke1, right? Ke1. So the kinetic energy for the second velocity is my Ke2. The kinetic energy for the first velocity is my Ke1, right? So that will be equal to, my Ke2 is 300,000, right? 300,000 minus my Ke1 is 75,000. So minus 75,000, right? So if I minus that in the calculator, 300,000 minus 75,000 will be equal to 225,000. So this will be equal to 225,000 what? Joules. This is my answer to this question, right? It's quite simple and straightforward.